in my particular situation, so my dad happened to be someone that was very encouraging in my life. I dedicated my book to him, spoiler alert. And, I just remember small moments where there was nothing in particular going on. These don't have to be graduations and birthdays and, deaths in the family and things like that necessarily. But there was a moment that comes to mind that really informs my purpose, where we were just playing a board game. Nothing monumental going on. But again, what's that question? What was it about that moment that was so special or so joyful to me? And the answer for me was that I just felt good enough. Like, just good enough because I existed. And so that, for some random small moment like that, to stand out to me so strongly from my childhood, that's a really important clue. And hopefully your audience can think of something that, again, is either immensely joyful for them or was a great pain that they could prevent for others. And when we really focus in on what it was about that, and give that to others, that's purpose gold right there.
I love that. Those are great questions to ask. Not only those peaks, but also those valleys.
Yeah.
How you can either give that thing you got to others, or help walk with someone going through a pain maybe that you went through.
Yeah.
It can also be meaningful. Well, this has been fantastic. I feel like we've just kind of scratched the surface. Is there anything in the book that we haven't talked about yet that we should have, that you'd like to add before we start to wrap up?
Sure. I'd like to talk to the skeptics for a second.
Okay,
because
I like that.
When I use the word feelings, I get a lot of eyebrows go up, right? Touchy-feely. What is she talking about? So, I'm a skeptic too. So, and my background was largely in medical research, and then I went to business school where we met. So everything's about data for me. So I was like, okay, we got to find some data to talk about this, because I can't just go around saying, oh, listen to how you feel. Isn't that sweet? Not that I'm dismissing that by any means, but it's not the kind of thing that most people are real quick to adopt, right? So when I looked into some of the neuroscience behind this, what I thought was really, really fascinating is that what I'm talking about is in one part of the brain, emotions, for example. And then the data that we typically look at, the salary, compensation data, the job description, the known facts and logic, are a whole different part of the brain.
Okay.
What's so interesting is that they're extremely effective when you combine them.
Interesting.
And I think that the opportunity and the mistake that we often can make is leaving out the feelings data from the rest of the data. And when we integrate them, that's when they really shine, and we can find the kind of job that fits our skills and our background and our experience and our salary needs and so forth, and also be fulfilling. So that's what I would encourage your audience to think about, is it's just another data point that we just forget.
So reminding them that checking in with how you're feeling before, during, after some kind of a moment or piece of work or project is a really important data point, in addition to the metrics that might be wrapped around that.
So we don't want to throw that out, please.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm saying. Keep the logic into the equation. But yeah, it could even be what somebody else is doing, or something you see in a movie. You could find these moments anywhere. It's like I said earlier, it's about intentionally noticing them, and it takes negligible time to do that.
Yeah. So Ashley, every guest I have on the Leadership Foundry podcast, I ask them this kind of final question. Do you have one practical tip for us, for the leaders listening today, that they could put in their toolkit that would start making them a better leader starting tomorrow? And there's no right or wrong answer to it. It's just whatever comes to mind for you.
Along the lines of what we've been talking about, I think that not just living intentionally is what I would kind of tell broader audiences, but to the leader, oh man, in a world of great resignations and quiet quitting and layoffs and everything we're going through, and disengaged employees, what an opportunity to get to know yourself and what motivates you, so that you can then lead that team from a place of passion. And again, we don't give up the metrics and the goals and everything, but to add that to your leadership toolkit, oh man, I'd much rather work for that leader. Well, what an opportunity we have for the leader to practice and model this, and then the team feels safe speaking up and saying, you know what, I'd really like to do more of this other project. Is that something we could discuss in our next touch base?